RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right, guys, what the heck is going on? My name is Tara Devlin. This is unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, and humanity. And God damn it, we need more of that. That's for sure. So tonight, we have a very special show planned. Hopefully the audio and all the equipment cooperates. But before I continue, I already hear the audio is like way too hot. How's that? Okay, maybe better. We had audio problems last show. I didn't know this until after. All right, I'm adjusting. How's that sound? You guys will let me know because we have our chat room at youtube.com/C for channel/Tarabuster. And you guys are the producers, so I don't know if you realize that when you're part of the Tarabuster community, it's like a second job. Okay. All right. I'm having a hard time hearing myself. Okay. Maybe one day we'll get some professional help up in this bitch for this bitch. So that's why I ask you all to become patrons, or those who can become a patron, please do at patreon.com/C for channel/Tarabuster. And this is the unapologetic liberal media. Okay? A little more volume, Mark. All right, let's see. Let me see what's happening here. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2. Buckle my shoe, 3 4, hit the door, 1 5 6, and pick up sticks. How's that sounding? You let me know. More volume, they're saying. More volume, more volume. Is it still too low? Let me know. If it's low, let me know. I know we have a delay. That's why I have to stand here singing. So, and we probably lost all our listeners. Okay, you guys will let me know if this sounds better, because we have a very special show tonight. Thank you, Mark, for your feedback. Mark says, perfecto, wonderful, thank you. And like I said, we're in this together. This is a community effort. The motto of the show, I guess, is we stick together, we win. But, I mean, it really is. It's not just the motto, it's a way of life. Okay, so we have a very special show tonight, and Robyn Kincaid is joining us. And I mean, we're going to discuss, obviously, the Rittenhouse travesty of justice and everything else. But Robyn is, for those who do not know, Robyn is a broadcaster as well, a member of the real liberal media. Like me, like you guys, because we're in this together, and Mike Malloy, Robyn Kincaid. I mean, those are basically, FYI Nation, Verdant Square Radio, ROKFIN.com. Okay, just the plugs, of course, Progressive Voices. So tonight we're gonna talk to Robyn, and every super chat is going to Robyn's recovery. So Robyn. Well, she could tell her own story. So let me get Robyn on the phone before I keep babbling, because that's always something that could go wrong. You know me, babbling, Tarabuster. They don't call it Tarabuster for nothing. Okay, so now I have to loop Robyn in because here's the other thing. I'm looping Robyn in on Skype. And I also have the phones open, so we can, if anybody wants to call in, you can also call in, and we can all discuss how to survive fascism or whatever you have on your mind. All right. So we did this once before. Why don't I show you what I'm doing, just so you can maybe guide me if I'm doing it wrong. All right. So here we go. Unless this shows people's numbers. That's the Tarabuster call-in line. Okay, good. Add people. And let me see. She's still under Bob, if I am not mistaken. Let me see. Add people. Why can't I find this? Kincaid? Why can't I find Bob Kincaid? Probably because Bob is no longer among us, so to speak. All right. What the fuck? I'm sorry, Robyn. I'm having a hard time. Hold on a second, guys. Add people. What the fuck, man? Anybody? Let me see. 2 cans and a string. Yes, Lee in New York City. All right. What the fuck is going on here? How come I can't find you? Done. All right, let me try it this way. I might have to hang up the call. Let's start it again. Let me try this. That's me. Why? There's always something. La da dee dee dee. It's not working. I don't even. This is. All right. Something sucks. Okay, Robyn. You know what? I think we might just have to do the phone. This happened the last time. I can't do this. I can't do this to people. Hang up. Nobody is there. No. All right. Ba-da-ba-ba. This sucks when you're doing live TV. Okay, well, in the meantime, let's just discuss a little bit as I'm trying to do this and trying to loop Robyn in. All I have to say is yesterday, the verdicts came in the Kyle Rittenhouse travesty. And, I wasn't surprised, but literally I was shaking, I have to tell you. When the verdicts came in and they kept reading, not guilty? Oh, and of course, not guilty is not the same thing as innocent. So, all right, I have to call into the call-in studio.
Calling call-in studios host and
now
call
you can hear
screener
everything.
line. Please enter your show or meeting number
All right,
and press pound.
one.
Enter your 6-digit PIN number.
Jesus Christ. What is my PIN number? Oh, here it is.
We did not receive a response. Goodbye.
Oh, shut up. Oh. You got me in chains. You got me in chains for your love. It's...
For calling call-in studios host and call screener line. Please enter your
7. Oh, that's... I was only teasing you. Okay.
Enter your 6-digit PIN number.
How's the show going? Is it interesting so far? All right.
Welcome, host. You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the call-in studio web interface.
Okay.
Audio recording is on. Dual channel.
Now I will send Robyn the number. Boom. Where is... Everything sucks, guys. That's all I have to say. Holy shit. Did I think this was going to roll like this? No. I don't know. Oh, wait. Maybe you were already connected? Is that what you're telling me? All right. So, but I'm waiting for Robyn to get in here. But the thing is, I couldn't even say, I had nothing to say about the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict at the time because I was too busy Googling get the fuck out of the United States. I mean, how to emigrate to to Ireland. I literally, that's what I was doing. And, of course, I calmed down a little bit. But I want to... all right, let me get Robyn in here. Robyn, somebody help me. Are you there? You know, can you please call in? I don't know, guys. You know, you try to do a liberal media talk show, but there's so many things working against you. And now we're 10 minutes in, okay? That's all I can say, because I'm disgusted. Hello? Please use the phone and call in. Sometimes maybe we should have rehearsed. Who needs rehearsal when every day is a fucking shit show? So you really can't prepare for that. What is going on? I really don't understand. And you know, look at I'm getting red. You can see it. Oh, here we go. Calm down. Here comes my emotional support cat. Get up here. Robyn, are you there? Robyn?
Breathing.
Oh my God.
Breathing. Letting go. Letting go.
You see look at my neck. Look at my neck. You see, that's my blood pressure. You see my neck? It's all red. Because I'm like, okay, let's just...
Well, so that's everybody down here where I am.
Right. Rednecks, that's true. Right. God help us. Really. Robyn, so for those who don't know, Robyn is a liberal media broadcaster. And last week, it's only been a week, right? Yeah. Robyn went through the...
Oh, it's November...
What day?
Yeah, November the 9th.
Right.
November the 9th.
It's a little over a week that Robyn's been completed her gender confirmation surgery. So, and everybody who watches Tarabuster knows, and usually we have a lot of crossover listeners. So I just want to let you know that Robyn is recuperating in Alabama, and but because of that, she's not able to get on the air so as much while she's in recovery. So every super chat tonight will go 100% to Robyn's recovery.
Oh, bless your heart.
Yes, so that's all the Ubers to rehab, or just the ordering a lunch in because you need to recover. Things like that. Just keeping a roof over her head and her partner's head, and also to they got to pay the bills. These are the practical realities that we have to deal with, and especially living in the United States of serfs and lords, when we don't really have no resources, or limited resources. That it's the obstacles. That's why what Robyn, in my opinion, is a true American hero, and because in spite of all those obstacles and the fear and the Republicans and the threats of violence, Robyn still is the living, breathing example of courage and never giving up and going for it. Live an authentic life. So how are we gonna get through fascism now? If I was going to survive fascism with any group of people, it would certainly be with you guys. So I'm happy to be at the barricades with you. All right, Robyn. I just figured we would have a free-flowing conversation tonight. We do have the phones. Since you're connected on the phone, I'm sorry, I don't know. Maybe one day next week you could help me, and we can do it offline. With the figure out what the hell is going on with the Skype.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not so. I mean, I got my Skype hooked up here, and in fact, I'm calling in on Skype.
Yeah, but why can't?
I'm using.
Yeah, but you're calling it. You see, I don't know. We'll have to talk about it later. I'm very sorry. I know you because you look great. That's the thing. Robyn
Well, thank you.
wanted to. I mean, we were trying to do the video just so people can see you too. You know, and see your progress and how. I mean, you look awesome. You sent me a picture and for the promo. So, and it's just incredible that you were in major surgery a little over a week ago. So, all right.
And there's a lot of recovery to do. I mean, I'm still weak as a kitten. Mm-hmm. And there's still a lot of pain, but I'm proud to say that I'm not using any opioids.
That's good.
It's ibuprofen only, and I'm on this sort of every 6 hours roller coaster. I tried to get it to where it would be like midnight, 6 a.m., noon, 6 p.m., and I couldn't quite make it to midnight last night, so I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning, and I took my 4 ibuprofens. And then it's like, well, it's 3, okay, we'll try to go to sleep. No, and then, back up at 4, and then screw this, and because I'm an hour behind my ordinary life because I'm in Central Time. And so, I just went in at 5 o'clock in the morning and made myself a French press decaf and tried to sit and pretend I was a civilized woman. Mm-hmm. And so everything kind of just sort of flows one day into the next, and the stir crazy, and I really can't do too much yet. So I'm just really looking for having a little bit more healing so I can go out. There's some lovely parks around here. I'd love to go for a walk before it gets too brutally cold. But I'm very lucky. I mean, it's still like 60 degrees and sunny down here a lot of days.
Oh, that's nice. At least, right?
Yeah.
So are you
very
able to
nice.
get around? Or, I mean, I see some of your pictures on Instagram and whatnot. I mean, you're able to. It's just incredible to me that you're able to as far as you are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had 2 trips I had to take this week. One was on Monday. I had to go to the physical therapist to learn how to dilate. And then Wednesday, I had my first follow-up appointment with the surgeon, who said everything looks pretty much okay.
Good.
And I really don't have anything on my dance card for weeks now, and it's just a matter of laying around and seeing what I can binge watch on Netflix.
Yeah, that's
it. And Prime and what. So last night was, because it's been out. This is the 20th anniversary of the Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
So I watched the extended version of the Fellowship of the Fellowship of the Ring. And poor Boromir is still dead. Yeah, I know.
I mean, I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan. I'm not. I mean, I don't hate it or anything, but yeah, I only remember watching it. I watched it with my nephews when they were little. That was. But anyway, are you a big Lord of the Rings fan?
Oh yeah, I've read it probably a dozen times. I was a big Lord of the Rings nerd when I was like in junior high and high school. I always wanted to be an elf princess. I mean, just sorry.
Right.
Who doesn't?
Well, who doesn't? Damn it, that's the truth, right?
But I don't have to do a lot of running around in the future, and it's hard to get out, but it's nice to get out. So I've got permission to sort of start testing my boundaries and see if I can drive a few miles. I need to go to the grocery store. Because Instacart, I'd never used Instacart before, and Instacart just sucks.
I've used.
I got an order canceled. This young woman canceled my order one evening because
Why?
I told her because she was trying to put purified water in my basket, and I told her, no, I need distilled water. They are not the same thing. Excuse you, I can't believe how rude you're being. I'm just canceling your order.
Wow! Holy shit! All you said was that. Well, people are very triggered, right?
Water. It's delicate, I'm sure.
That's ridiculous. Well, you could always complain about her, but whatever. Yeah, she's probably having a hard day.
I put Miss Ashley up on blast on Twitter and got a response from the company.
Oh, there you go. Hold on, Robyn. We got the music.
Sure thing.
And my glasses are crooked. So. Be right back. All right, guys. Let me remind you, Every super chat is 100% going to Robyn tonight. So fill up that super chat list, okay? Because Robyn, like I said, because she's in recovery from her surgery. She doesn't have the time she's got to heal. So thank you for if you can, super chat away.
Yeah, I managed to do a program last night, Friday night, on the Horn, and I sat here and I did the program, and I got done I managed to get all of like 2 hours and 20 minutes in, and that was 2 hours and 20 minutes of sitting in one place, and I got up and it was like, oh, I think I'm going to die.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really, sitting is a real challenge. So eventually, I don't know, maybe after I get back to West Virginia, I'm buying a standing up desk.
Right. I'm going to send you the link to the one I have. I think you should look into it. I'm just saying, because it's not that expensive, and it's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'll send you that.
I can just use them, let it hang over there, yeah. But, and by the way, I love the idea that the phone lines are open this evening. If anybody has any questions, I would love to answer them.
Exactly.
This is a solemn day for trans people like me, because this is the Trans Day of Remembrance. And this is the day that we take to remember the trans people, most of whom are trans women, most of whom are black trans women, who are murdered every year. Last year, the number was 23. This year, the number is 46.
It doesn't surprise me.
That up, that's 92 next year.
Right.
There's a war on against people like me. And it's an opportunity to educate and an opportunity to demystify and answer questions and clear away misconceptions. And I've tried to be really, really open in my transition so that, maybe I can help do some of that demystification and answer questions that are forward in good faith. And sometimes we have a laugh about it, and because sometimes it's funny. But sometimes it's dangerous, and people pay a terrible price for trying to live their truth and live their authenticity.
Isn't that incredible? When you think about it, that it matters, that people are so focused on what other people's truth is. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know.
There's a cottage industry geared toward. Yeah, there's a cottage industry geared toward hating people like me, and it is well funded, and it comes from the right wing. And there are even some people who consider themselves progressives who despise people like me.
Right.
The so-called the trans exclusionary radical feminists. They're not feminists. They're they're just hate.
I don't understand that. What is that? I've seen what's that lady? J.K. Rowling. She was somebody.
J.K. Rowling.
She's one of those.
Basically, they are cis women and their allies who think that trans women are not women, and who think that we're not real, or that we go through. I went through 8 hours of brutal major surgery because I'm secretly a gay guy who be able to have sex with guys, but I couldn't do it with a guy because I couldn't stand it. The reasoning is so tortured and so idiotic.
It's just evil.
Yeah, it is. But the thing is, we are going to be. Trans people are, and other people, other groups, other marginalized communities also have targets on their back. But it seems, based upon the trends as they have developed heretofore, trans people are going to be the enemy du jour of the right wing in this country during the 2022 election cycle. I don't know if I mentioned this in one of our previous conversations, but there's a guy who's considering a Republican run in the primary for the governor of Alabama, who says that the three great issues that Alabama faces at this time are transgender rights, critical race theory, and yoga.
And who? What's the last one?
Yoga.
What?
Yoga.
Oh, yoga. That's right.
Yoga.
That's how Satan gets in or something, right?
Turning our good little Baptist in our elementary schools into idol worship and Hindus. That's just the purpose
Oh
of
my
yoga.
God,
I
this
mean,
country is
get
so
in touch
dumb.
with spirit.
I can't take
Yeah,
this.
oh, yeah,
I can't
yeah,
take
yeah.
the dumb. That's what it is. Because they're the minority, but they're dumb. They're stupid. They're evil, and they're loud, and they have entirely too much power. Unfortunately, sociopathy, is, as studies have concluded, there are a lot of sociopaths in big business, in the high executive offices and CEOs and whatnot. So they don't really give a shit about ideals or democracy or, anybody else but themselves. And
So since we're going to be the target during this political season, this is kind of an announcement. I haven't said this out loud anywhere, so it's an exclusive to Tarabuster.
oh my God.
I'm probably running for office.
What?
I'm probably running for office.
Yes.
I'm probably running for office.
What? Can you hear that? That's a standing ovation. That's awesome. What office are you going to run for? You should, and you will win.
State.
I have a feeling. I just had a psychic.
State legislature in West Virginia.
And
House of Delegates.
okay, that's great. That's fabulous. That's awesome. I mean, I don't even know what else to say. That's what we need. We need people like in the red states.
It's just perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's perfectly positioned because the guy that if I get through the primary, which is not guaranteed, but if I get through the primary, the guy I'm facing is a notorious right-wing hate monger.
Okay, this is great.
And vicious transphobe.
Wow,
So
you're gonna win. You're gonna win.
We will position this as love versus hate.
That's awesome.
And we'll see which wins.
Right. That's good. Let's see who. And this is the thing. When I was watching everything unfold with Rittenhouse and then the Republican response to that, the giddiness, the celebrating, and the lionizing this little twerp, this murderous twerp. And all I kept thinking was, what? There are grieving families here who lost their relative. They lost their sons, their brothers.
And members of the Grand Old Party are tap dancing on their graves.
Right. Because they were in the streets protesting for equal protection under the law, for equal justice, regardless of pigment. So. Yeah. Who's on the right side of history here? And when you look through history, it's the left wingers. Now that let me say it's the left wingers that are being attacked. Show me what right winger was assassinated. You have JFK, Malcolm X, Bobby Kennedy.
A couple of years ago, there was that little neo-Maxi Zoom dweeby in Portland who claims that he got a concrete milkshake thrown at him, and he's a traumatized little snowflake.
Yes.
But,
Oh, that's that Andy No guy, right? I know him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, him. I mean, another grifter. That's what they are. They're just grifters. They're horrible, and it's.
Well, right, and Kyle Rittenhouse has punched his ticket.
Right.
I don't know if you saw the story yesterday or not, but Matt Gaetz and Paul Gosar have said they will arm wrestle over which one of them gets to put him on their intern staff.
Yes, I know. And
which
all
is just
and all I kept thinking was him walking around the halls of our people's house, and he's just there to intimidate other representatives, their coworkers. He's there to trigger the libs. And that's what it is. They like it. They don't give a shit if anybody who dies, or it's all about triggering the libs. And that's why on this show we take, we're reclaiming patriotism. And I really believe this is what liberals need to do. Because obviously we have conceded the whole dialogue for far too long. We've conceded
we've conceded everything
Yes,
for 30 years,
because
40 years.
There's many. We know that some Democrats are sold out. Yes, so that we have that to contend with, and then So, oh, God damn it. My cat keeps biting me because he wants me to pet him. Anyway, so it's conceding the whole notion of patriotic. What does patriotism mean? Is it, I mean, they have redefined it to be something like what Kyle Rittenhouse did. That's patriot. Oh, somebody had to stand up because the police, this is their story. Kyle had to stand up because liberals and Black Lives Matter made the police stand down. Wait, hold on. We'll be right back. That's damn loud. Why is that so loud? Is that loud in my ears only or in everybody's ears?
It's a little loudish.
It was pretty loud.
Okay, we'll live.
No, I mean, the thing is, we got audio issues. Anyway, but as far as patriotism, they're trying to, they have been successful in stealing the moniker patriotism. They've redefined it, just like they've redefined the whole notion of a middle class or the American dream in general, right? They have redefined the American dream from you too can have a decent middle class life. You deserve a decent living wage and all of that, all of the promises of a middle class, right? They changed that. Now they've redefined it to you too can be a billionaire, maybe. If you come up with something and then who wants to pay those taxes? You don't want to pay taxes when you're billionaires, do you? You know what I mean? That's what they've done.
Yeah, let me just throw something in here since we're talking about billionaires, Tara. You know who I want to be a billionaire?
Who?
I want Kyle Rittenhouse to be a billionaire.
Why?
Now, they'd work with me.
Yes.
Because it's a lot easier to win a civil suit than it is a criminal one.
Oh, that's right.
Especially when the judge has stacked the deck against you and the prosecution isn't particularly inept.
Oh, my God.
And so you get the civil judgment against him and you follow him for the rest of his natural-born days, and every time he makes a dime, you take it from him.
That's right. That's right. And that's what... Yeah, that's what the one of, I think the parents of one of the victims, I'm not sure which victim, that's what they're promising to do. They're saying this isn't over, and we will be coming for you. All of it. They're coming for everybody that made it possible, including the police force that patted the kid on the back and handed him water. That's the beautiful thing about our civil law system. You get to sue them all and let God sort of. Right. And that's what they need to do. They need to do that. It has to be like OJ. He needs to be vilified, and you're right. He needs to be hounded. I'm sorry. He's a kid. Is he? He's a murderer. He killed 2 fucking people. We don't need armed sociopathic teenagers running loose on the streets.
So give him a job at Fox News, TV, Radio, Rwanda, or Onan, the network that spills its news upon the ground, or News Muck, or let him have a paid staff position on Marjorie Trader Gangrene cue ball staff. Anything anywhere he earns a nickel. Get that judgment and chase him every time he cashes a check.
Right. Because what else is he going to do except he'll find some charity from Matt Getz or something? Of course, the internship would be unpaid, right?
The wingnut welfare industry is broad and deep.
Right. He'll have a show. He'll be something. I mean, they'll set him up. But then I'm thinking,
you remember,
George Zimmerman. It reminds me of Zimmerman. But where's he gone?
You remember Trey Gowdy?
Yes.
The guy that looked like a refugee from Madame Tussauds Wax Museum.
Yes.
The guy who questioned Clinton, and she had him for lunch.
Yes. And, oh my
I was
God, yes.
scanning channels the other day, and maybe it was Fox. I don't know where, but there he sits, sweating like a wax dummy under their lights
And
now.
he is one of their commentators.
I guess so.
Wow. Well, that's just what Matt Getz said, that he wanted to give Kyle or offer Kyle Rittenhouse an internship so he could help the country in more ways than he's already helped it. This is what he fucking said.
Yeah, you helped enough.
He helped the
enough.
country. Could you imagine being the parents of the people who, or anyone who was injured or dead? I can't even handle thinking about that. It's like I put myself in their shoes and I want to vomit. How do you live in a country where you find no justice, and then the one of the major political parties doesn't even have the manners, the graciousness, the maturity, the dignity, the decency, the humanity to behave like a human, not to dance on somebody's grave, not to throw smoke and fire on the fire, or gasoline on the fire. You know what I'm saying? Not to throw, not to exacerbate and make situations worse. You notice, you have one party talking about we have to get together, we have to unify. When do you ever hear? I'm not even talking about in the last 4 years. In your recollection, how many Republicans talk about getting together with Democrats and working together? Because the only thing that the Republicans think working together is Democrats doing everything that they want them to do. So there's no compromise.
Right.
There's no...
Democrats laying down and rolling over and letting the Republicans do as they wish.
Yes, and that's the Republican definition of bipartisanship. That's working together. And then otherwise, anything the Democrats want to do is tyranny, it's communism, it's everything that Marjorie Taylor Greene is on her Twitter feed. It's all lies too. Nothing but lies. And that's why I mean, we're here because of neoliberalism. You know, when Bill Clinton signed the Telecommunications Act, I am convinced that is what destroyed this country. And otherwise, because of these idiots, they wouldn't be falling down QAnon holes or Fox News. They wouldn't be less informed than people who watch no news at all, like the viewers of Fox News.
You know, one of these days we're going to find out exactly where all that crap came from.
What crap?
And the QAnon, the cue ball stuff, the pedophilia ring. You know, who really generated that? And then I hope we have the national will to hang it like a millstone around the people who promoted its necks.
Oh, well, you know that's not going to happen. Sorry.
I know.
Because we have no institutional memory in this country either. We're a bunch of dumbasses by design, and the Republicans will make sure it stays that way if they have anything to say about it, because they don't want the American people to evolve or not be racist or reckon, or have that Truth and Reconciliation Commission that we so desperately need concerning our racist ass history. You have one political party. It's not a party anymore. It's a cult. There is no doubt. It's a cult. It's a cult. How do you... First of all, it was a cult forever, for as long as I've been politically aware. They're signing loyalty oaths to Grover Norquist. All of these things are not normal. And we're going back years and years. So this didn't happen overnight. But all along, the Republicans have been embracing their inner fascist, just letting the fascist flag fly. And that is because they are a fundamentally undemocratic ideology. They can only handle democracy if white people, straight men, straight acting, or let's say, are in power. That's it. then they can handle democracy.
Great act.
Otherwise, and you see, the closer we became, or we're getting, or if we come within a hair's breadth of having a multiracial liberal democracy that functions, they will throw out the entire system. They would rather have autocracy than democracy. That's how racist they are, and they can't help it. As we know, there are a certain percentage of people who are authoritarian followers. They're the lost cause, and that's why, you need education. You have to teach young people about democracy, how it survives, how tenuous it is, how it fails, what the threats are. Instead of this hair trigger about fascism. I remember we talked about it. There's Godwin's law for years. Anybody who mentions Nazis, you automatically lose the argument. What is that shit? And for years it bothered me because it was like, so we'll just throw out the entire history or lessons from the 20th century, I guess. Okay, great.
Right. The thing with Godwin's law is that it presupposed that there wasn't a legitimate comparison to.
Right.
Now, it does not violate Godwin's law when you are comparing an honest-to-God, no-kidding, self-avowed, real, live Nazi to Nazis. Because
right.
That's outside the theoretical realm of the so-called law.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we are.
Right.
It is not a violation of Godwin's law to say that Nazis are Nazis.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, that's one of those mathematics.
Exactly.
Where 1 plus 2 is the same as 2 plus 1.
Right. Hold on a second, Robyn.
Nazis is Nazis.
We got music. Hopefully it's not as loud as the last one. I lowered it a little. Be right back. Robyn Kincaid, Tara Devlin. All right, we're back talking to Robyn Kincaid. Remember, everyone on Earth, that your super chat, 100% of your super chat is going to Robyn's recovery. Okay? Because she had her gender confirmation surgery, and, it takes the practical realities of life are we have to keep a roof over our heads, and Robyn hasn't been able to get in front of the microphone, so we're picking up the slack. All right? So everybody, if you can, yes, just take your neighbor by the ankles, shake them upside down, and whatever falls out, just put it in the super chat. It's going to Robyn. It's a good cause. Yes. Okay. Andrea on the chat says, but the Dems allowed it all. Exactly. That's what we're talking about. The Dems this is why neoliberalism is not the remedy for fascism. It's what brings fascism to fruition, really. And everything that the Dems did brought us here, gave us Trump. Now, you could say that the election of Barack Obama obviously triggered the assholes, the racists. There's a bunch of them here, obviously, right? But it's it didn't, it's like John Roberts said, pure race. I mean, that's what John Roberts said.
Well, but there's another side of that coin too, though, and that is that if you want to know where we are right now, it is best, in my estimation, I'm an older adult now, and so I can remember, I wasn't a child when this happened, the election of Ronald Reagan. And there's not much that's going on in this country, and it always just tickles me a little bit when I hear somebody like Joe Scarborough say, well, Ronald Reagan couldn't be a Republican now. They'd call him a rhino. And yet just about everything that is wrong with this country began
That's right.
With the ascension of Ronald Reagan.
Yep.
The assault on unions, the assault on working families, the assault on the social welfare network, everything.
That's right.
The idea that, he would stand up during his 1980 campaign and say, well, the most dangerous 9 words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
That's right.
And so they they created this notion that government, popular sovereignty, we the people, is a bad thing, and we just and so what we need is more chaos. We need anarchy, and they had their handmaiden, the NRA, who was going hammer and tongs working on anarchy every day once they stopped being a shooting sports organization and became an organization dedicated to creating social and civil chaos.
That's right. And they know that, too. I don't know if you've listened to the NRA tapes that just came out in the past couple of weeks from Columbine. It's an NRA recording of a call between executives after Columbine, where they were discussing how they were going to deal with it in the press. Should they take responsibility? Should they set up a fund? Should they? And then they opted to go with "fuck off, everybody. We're the NRA, and we're go die." And on the call, one of the executives was going off on the real gun nuts. She's saying, "Oh, we're gonna get all of these morons upset, all these crazy gun nut moron." I mean, like, she was really not holding back.
They know their constituency, and they know they're nuts.
Exactly. And just like the Republicans, they know that their constituency are nuts, and they don't care. That's why this is why what we do is, what we're all doing, just getting together here, and all of the people in the audience. This is why it's so important, because you're not hearing that, on any other channel. And the other thing, just taking patriotism back, taking back democracy. What is democracy in the first place? What does that mean? What is patriotism in the first place? You know what I mean? Like, all of these fundamental questions, I think, because of our effed up media landscape, is run by the 1%, and it's meant to keep people, in line. That's part of the problem. That's why we're dealing with what we're dealing with all these idiots. Where are they getting this information? They're getting it from the billionaires, the billionaire networks with the millionaire mouthpieces, who are telling them all of these lies. And on some level, I kind of feel bad for them, because I do think that if Bernie Sanders came out and said the election is stolen, they rigged it, I would probably believe it, really. Although Bernie Sanders isn't a con man, doesn't have a history. What?
No, but we did live through 2000.
Right.
We know what a stolen election
Oh,
looks
yeah, there you go, like. Right there. But nothing happened. What happened there? Nothing. We all went about our business. And this is what happens in governments that fall to autocracy. People just go on about their business, because what else are you going to do? Just like in Nazi Germany, when they discussed, in that book, they thought they were free. They went and they interviewed the people, and they were like, well, it's so gradual. It's so gradual that you don't notice it until it's over your head. So, and you know what I find interesting out of that concept, Tara, is that you see some it's a matter of understanding an idea and not understanding the application. If you look in the fever swamps of the right wing right now, and the anti-vax, anti-vaccine, anti-Fauci, you will find no end of memes talking about how, a government that can get you to fear anything, right.
All kinds of crap.
Right.
And so they constantly are in fear of government overreach, or the big bad government coming to take away their rights, which means they're goons. Mm-hmm. And we know that they've been barking and grunting and screeching and hooting for years. You know what? I have guns in case the government comes to try to get my guns.
Yes.
So, they profess this dedication to democracy and liberty, but when it is actually challenged, they roll over and say, sure, go ahead.
That's right. That's it. And
you're not coming from guns, are you?
We
don't need your guns.
Right.
If we want to come after you, we'll use a helicopter gunship, okay?
Exactly.
You can keep your guns. All right, then I'm cool.
We have drones,
Go
ahead,
set up an automatic. Yeah, fascism's fine.
Right. But that whole Second Amendment thing, that in itself is yet another illustration of how misinformed people are. They think that we have a Second Amendment because we're supposed to rise up against the government. That's not. No. I swear to God, I wish I had a time machine and I could go back in time and just erase that fucking Second Amendment. It's ridiculous. And we know it was yet another concession to the slave states who didn't want anybody coming in to take their human property.
It was also northern states too, Tara, because states like New York had, and even Massachusetts had western frontiers that still had indigenous people in them.
Mm-hmm.
And the Second Amendment may be said far more to be a genocidal amendment than it is a slavery amendment.
Right.
It was about making sure that the population was armed well enough to kill off anyone whose land they wanted to steal.
Yes.
Who happened to be here for the last 10 years.
Right. Right.
But it's also misinterpreted and misunderstood insofar as it was actually a means of governmental control of guns.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to keep and bear arms, but because you keep and bear arms, that means we can call your happy lard ass out to go and march around in the rain and the snow and the blazing heat.
That's right.
Doing military business.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It was a means by which the state governments could say, your ass is mine for 6 weeks.
Right. Right.
Or, the duration of the because the Constitution sets up a government that has no standing army.
Right. I know. That's another thing. I wish I could go back in time. We lost the vote, right? So the standing army lost. I mean, no standing army lost by one vote. That's what happened. Isn't that sad? I mean, we've really come we've really gone off the rails in the last 50 years, completely off the rails. Because when you think about in World War II, we stayed out of World War II until we couldn't stay out of it any longer, right? But I think at the time when the United States was attacked, I think we had like the 18th largest military in the world. I'm just fact checking myself through Robyn because Robyn knows everything. So, but am I correct?
We were a military power. We had a big navy, but it was antiquated, and it got sent to the bottom of Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, because the first troops that were sent out, and I think it was the Battle of, I remember Okinawa. No, it was at Okinawa. Anyway, whatever. They were fighting with World War I weapons. We'll be right back. But that's what I'm saying as far as this whole militarization of the United States as this superpower is a relatively recent invention. Before World War II, it wouldn't, and that's probably why Eisenhower warned against the military-industrial complex, because it was a new phenomenon, and really, we can trace everything back to that too. That greed is the only value, and I think that one of the things that we're doing here is, we're trying to spread or at least criticize the notion that greed is the only American value. Let's change that. What happened to e pluribus unum? Let's not leave anybody behind. And that's why I'm thinking with what's going on with these Republicans, they are off the chain disgusting. I don't know, how is this playing? I have to wonder with people who aren't perhaps as politically aware as we are. I wonder, how that looks.
Well, they've been taught a way of thinking. I happen to be, I'm not just down here recuperating from surgery. I'm secretly on an anthropological observation mission.
Right.
Tara.
Really, right. Like
And,
Jane Goodall.
Yeah, just kind of back amongst the trees, watching the chimpanzees fling poo at each other. one of the things that you'll notice in a place like this, though, is that people have been preconditioned. And so, and I think I mentioned this last night on the air, down here in Alabama, people use the word conservative as a synonym for good.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And they use
really?
liberal as a synonym for, and they use liberal as a synonym for
really
evil.
Oh,
bad.
well,
So,
there you go.
Yeah, so in Alabama, tell you, well, you know, down here in Alabama, we're conservative American Christians, and conservative is doing the work of the word good. We're not like those liberals,
right,
up above the Dixon line.
Right.
They're still. I'm not kidding. They're still fighting the Civil War down here.
Yes, they are, and that's why
They
we
really
need to finish the work of reconstruction.
Our Uber driver.
Go ahead. Sorry,
Yeah,
you cut
our
off
Uber
there for a
driver
second.
last week. That's okay. Our Uber driver last week said, Biden, and he's not President Biden, he's not Joe, he's Biden. You know, Biden tried to impose his vaccine mandate down here in Alabama, but our good conservative attorney general stopped him in his tracks, so he won't be able to get away with that in Alabama. As if the federal government doesn't exist.
Right.
I mean, it's like, really, do we need to just send a 21st century General Sherman down here to burn some sense into you people?
You need another reminder, but
because
that's
again,
the thing.
I was born and raised here. And the place is so beautiful. Oh my God, it's breathtakingly beautiful, and there's a lot of good about it. But to hear some guy who's operating, he's probably struggling to pay his bills. He's probably got too much credit card debt. He's driving Uber just to make a little bit of extra dough.
Right.
And to hear him he doesn't realize that he is that he is the proud son of a taker state. He doesn't understand that he is a proud son of a welfare state. He does not understand, or it doesn't matter to him, that Alabama is, 47th, 48th, 49th, 50th in just about every category that matters. Things that relate to things he says he cares about. We care about our children down here in Alabama. Then how come you're 49th in education?
Right. Exactly.
How come children down here are routinely subjected to environmental toxins and poisons?
Right.
How come your God-fearing Republican legislature engaged in a full-on war against 11,000 of the most marginalized children in this state? I'm talking about trans kids. They spent an entire legislative session, when you consider everything else that's wrong with this state,
right.
Hospitals that are closing because they won't take the Medicaid expansion, roads that are crumbling, bridges that are falling apart. But they spent an entire legislative session attacking weak children.
Right. Yep. Vulnerable children who need love and understanding and compassion, which is actually something that adds value
children
to the world.
Yeah. Right. 11,000 children, 40% of whom admit to having either contemplated or tried suicide.
That's right. Well, they don't care. I mean, we used to tell that when we used to say that about the gays. Gays, during when gay people in general were the targeted minority group du jour. We used to say that. The incidences of young gay kids committing suicide, it was off the chart. They don't care because they think that's a good thing, Robyn. I hate to inform you. That doesn't move them. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure the families might be sad, but they probably wouldn't be. They probably wouldn't be that sad anyway because, they're trans children, and ain't nobody proud of having none of them.
They're so vile, and everything that they pretend to love, freedom, God. I really do wish that they were Christian. I say that all the time. I wish, because then we wouldn't be dealing with this. They would give all their money to the poor and follow that ancient socialist who gave out free health care. They wouldn't be standing in the way of decency, dignity, and democracy and humanity. And that's really what is that why well, it is, I guess. They cling to this Christianity, this fake Christianity, which the only holy obligation is gay bashing, is LGBTQI bashing. That's it, bashing other people. That's their holy obligation. And everything else, patriotism. This is now they're saying patriotism is picking up a gun and killing others who don't agree with you. And what are we not agreeing with? We want people to have old people to have hearing aids. We want you to have some effing time off if you get sick. I mean, like the rest of the world, all of these things that they're opposing. I think part of what has to happen is we have to turn just the entire stomach of the American people away from these fascist bastards as fast as possible. Otherwise, we're in big ass trouble, man. I don't know if you what do you think, but I'm just listening to corporate media pundits openly talking about fascism now. That goes to show, that tells you we're well deep in it. Do you know what I mean? So. Well,
yeah, and that we were way out ahead of the curve on this one.
Exactly.
We've been talking about this.
I know.
And the multi-millionaire geniuses are finally catching up with us.
It's amazing. And I don't know. So I keep telling people, this is happening. It's real. Let's address it. Let's address it like adults. But, actually the other day, well, no, it was just, Kevin McCarthy gave his 8-hour speech. Hold on a second. We'll be right back with Robyn Kincaid. All right, guys. Robyn Kincaid hanging out. Nobody's called. And what are you going to do? You can open the phones, but you can't make people dial, Robyn, right? And nobody wants to. People are shy. They're shy. They're shy. That's it.
Yeah, what did Dorothy Parker once famously say? You can lead a horticulture, but you can't make her think.
Exactly. So let's remind you, everyone, listeners, people on other platforms, come on over to youtube.com/C4channel/Tarabuster, and every super chat tonight is going directly to Robyn's recovery. So please try to, try to be as generous as you can. Okay, guys. What else? Oh, here. This is what I was going to say. So Kevin McCarthy, I guess he filibustered. Is that what he did? The Build Back Better bill in the House that passed. Now we got to.
No, I mean, there's really a filibuster. There's not really a filibuster in the House. He just ran his.
He just talked for 8 hours, and what was good, I thought this was pretty damn good. And what has to happen, where Democrats. This is what Democrats have to do. So AOC went live on one of her platform, I guess every platform, and she started mocking live streaming and mocking Kevin McCarthy in real time here.
Hello, everybody. I'm popping on Instagram live from the House floor of the United States Representatives, the cloakroom, very secretive place. I don't know. Anyways, live from the cloakroom of the United States House of Representatives, one of the worst, lowest quality speeches I have ever had. Look at this, the absolute atrocious lack of privilege to witness. Kevin McCarthy speaking against unions, speaking against universal child care, and universal pre-K, child care, etc. Along with all these Agent Smiths in the background, exhibiting the stunning diversity of the Republican Party.
It's great. She's tearing them down in real time, live streaming, as this asshole is is, she's making a mockery out of him, and that's what has to happen because they are a mockery. They are. I mean, obviously, young people are not really attracted to the Republican Party, and that's good. Wait, hold on, Robyn. Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, Robyn. Okay, cool. I'm sorry. You're cutting off a little bit. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, if you've ever read Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, you know that mockery is one of our most profound tools.
Yes.
And when they make it easy, well, when the ball is hanging above the rim, if you don't jam it through the hoop, that's on you.
Yep, that's right.
And it seems that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and you are so lucky to have her be your representative.
I know, she's awesome. She's better than Jim
She's
Crowley.
not going to sit idly by. She's going to. She's going to thump on them, and they're going to make a big noise, and that's what hollow drums do.
Right. But that's I just thought that AOC showing them what to do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it comes at a price because, look at the murder fantasy anime that Paul Gosar got censured for.
Right.
Yeah, right. Well, I didn't mean to threaten nobody. Well, bud, you really can't say that if you look at that anime.
Right. Well. It's what's next? Wile E. Coyote? Right. Yeah.
And I mean, I can't. I'm so old that I can remember when the right wing had a hissy. What was her name? The comedian held up a pumpkin.
Oh, I know. I almost put that picture on Facebook actually, but I thought better of it because I figured they would close my account, and that goes to show you. You know what I mean? That video is still up on Twitter.
I remember when they threw a conniption over Shakespeare in the Park producing Julius Caesar.
Because
which
what
has
was
only been
the
produced
outrage?
for the last 400 years.
Right, but what was the outrage? Because he was played by somebody with darker pigment?
Because they got outraged because it was done in modern dress by a guy in a blue suit with a necktie that was way too long.
That's right. Yes. But then, of course, what I remember this story, but the fact is, during Obama, they put on the same play and they made the main character, Caesar, look like Obama. So, but that goes to show you because Republicans will have faux rage about anything, but during
it's all DIY. Okay, if you're a Republican.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. During Obama, when they put the play on, you didn't hear a peep because we don't get triggered like that. Republicans, everything is a trigger, but it's all manufactured. Everything, and I wonder don't they get exhausted? But whatever. I hope they exhaust themselves like toddlers and finally pass out. But let me continue with AOC a little bit because it's pretty good.
Look at all of those different colored ties and haircuts. I have never seen a more diverse Republican Party than the one behind Kevin McCarthy right now. So, not only that, but he has managed to speak for over an hour with one of the lowest vocabularies I have ever seen coming from a member of House leadership of any party. It is stunning to me how long a person can talk.
Me, but I can pick
I'm
it up.
sorry.
One of the lowest vocabularies.
Oh shit! I hope other people can hear it. Anyway, I won't play it anymore. I never know with the audio. I never know what I'm gonna get. And neither does the listeners or the guests. We don't know what we're going to get. So before I continue, I just want to say thank you, Richard W., for your super chat. Thank you, Jim, for your super chat. Thank you, Mark, for your super chat. Thank you, JD, for your super chat. And Jim again. Jim says, have a coffee on me, Robyn. And thank you, Errol.
Thank you.
For your super chat. Errol says, any reason why Republic clowns and their supporters are unable to see that they created a clown show since Tuesday, November 5th, 1968? Yeah. No, that's not going to happen. Thank you, Terry Taylor. And Terry says, just a little something for Robyn. And thank you, JL's Hi, Tara. Good Saturday, y'all. Hi, Robyn. Good to hear you. I'm listening while packing up and doing my caregiving thing. Nice to see you, JL's and thank you for your super chat. And thank you, Mark, for your super chat. Okay, all super chats tonight are going to Robyn's recovery. Alrighty, guys. So, dig deep.
It's so inspiring.
It's all right, Robyn. We got you. We stick together, we win. That is the. It has to be a way of life, really. But I just thought that listening to AOC, that was great. What she did. This is what has to happen. We have to turn the Republican Party into the clown show for everyone. And the corporate media doesn't help in the way that they'll do a story about fascism and authoritarianism sweeping the globe, right? And they'll talk about the Republican bent. They're going authoritarian, and they're saying the F word now, but they don't put it together. The corporate media doesn't. It's not consistent, because then they'll do another story. The following story will be, will Joe Biden be able to get Republicans on board for whatever, his agenda, or will he be able to work with Republicans? And you know what I mean? And it's always the Democrats that have to work with Republicans. It's not the other way around. It's like they're given a pass. It's their bad behavior is expected. And the corporate media normalizes it by doing that. So they'll say it's alarming. They're attacking voting systems. They're following an authoritarian playbook. They'll openly say this, and then the next story will be, can Joe Biden get Republicans? Or it will be the majority of people. They'll do a poll and say they prefer Republicans in this poll or whatever. And that to me is a mixed message, because, okay, are they an existential threat to democracy, or should we work with them? Are they, which is it? Is it a threat, or am I seeing things? So that's why, it's also why these Trumpanzees and the cultists, they think everything that we're being alarmist, that because it's even the MSNBCs of the world is kind of normalizing Republicans. It is a mixed message. You know what I mean? Hold on a second. We'll be right back. Do you know what I'm saying, Robyn? That's what it feels like to me. It feels like crazy making.
Oh, absolutely do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, it just feels like we're getting, it's cognitive dissonance, where it's head spinning. That's why, okay, we need a consistent message. And one of the things I say, too, on the show is that we need, in order for a republic to survive, we need a common story. The country, we have to share. We have our history, right? I mean, we have to agree on that. And
I think
we don't. So
I think it was in the Federalist Papers that James Madison in the Federalist Papers, I think that's where it was, talked about wanting to create a civic religion.
Right.
And what he meant by that is, he didn't want to make a god of government, but he wanted people to be so, white,
right,
male, property-holding people,
right,
be so engaged with their own governance
right,
that they would hold it sacred.
Yes. Well, hey,
and
that's how Rome was.
It was a great idea, but it
conquered the world, really. No, that's what was this book I read? It was a book, I don't know, Roman history book, and that's what the author was proposing, that it wasn't the Roman military that conquered the world, it was the Roman civic state that conquered the world, because there was a real civic mindedness to Rome itself, to the people of Rome. They took great pride in getting laurels from the state or doing their part for the state. Like, they would commemorate it, and they would hang things up in their homes and places of honor, and it meant something. So especially during the Republican era. So here, how can you have a good country, much less a great country, when the people, there's no such loyalty. There's no attachment to the state in that way, where you're like, for example, AOC, or Illinois, or any of the squad who won their seats more recently than some of the others, right? AOC, that's something that we should celebrate. She knocked on doors. She got in the ring, and she won. That's nothing that we should vilify. Yet they're literally targeting her life, and I honestly am. I fear for all of them, because we know that Republicans, especially now, they're capable of violence. But yeah, everything that Republicans say they love, like the United States, like Barack Obama, for example, somebody who was raised by a single mom, rose up on his own merit and his own intellect to get scholarships, go to college, and run for office, serve his community, and then run for the highest executive office in the land in this racist ass country and win. And the Republicans vilify that. You know what I mean? That in itself, that's the American dream right there. But they mock it. They mock community organizing. Well, until, of course, they need something from the community, and then they complain that it's not good enough because of all of the attacks that the Republicans have inflicted. You know what I mean? But it's, we have a lot of work to do, Robyn. And thank you, Robyn M. Another super chat.
Lord,
Robyn coming in. Okay. Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
Anyway, what do you think? How can we... See, the other thing that makes me think, when I think about officially falling to fascism, I'm of the opinion, if the Democrats lose in the midterms, if they lose power, the country's over. We're going to be a fascist state for probably the rest of my life. What do you think?
Well, I think what you're going to see, Tara, is it will be harder to do that on a federal level than on a state.
Mm-hmm.
And so you will just see the further decline of fascism in places like Alabama, or the entire...
Right.
Basically, it's the Confederacy reasserting itself without firing a shot.
Right.
Or without firing an organized shot. There's shots being fired.
True.
And it's being empowered by governments like Alabama and Mississippi and Arkansas and Tennessee and Kentucky and God knows the Carolinas and Florida. A friend sent me a photograph last night of a sign that he saw outside on the sidewalk in somewhere in Florida that said, "Yes, we have AR-15s, ammo available."
What does that mean?
And this was in Miami.
I'm not
it
sure.
Means
What
they've
does
got
that
a
mean?
nice stock of AR-15s.
Oh, okay. Oh, ammo event. I thought it was whatever. I thought it was a warning or something. No, I know what you mean. Wow. Ammo available. So you can just walk in and buy an AR-15.
Yeah, and 1,000 rounds of ammunition.
Right. Well, this is what they think too. I've been hearing Republicans say that of course I'm sure you saw the video of the guy saying, when can we start shooting? But they are talking about civil war. Hey, we have the guns. Let's do a civil war. So, but I'm trying to say, we don't need a war. Just go, just secede. I don't know. I know you live in the South, and I have a lot of friends who live in the South, but I feel, I might maybe I'm wrong, but I do feel that we're not going to last, Robyn, if we don't split up. I really believe that. Maybe, people are like, oh, that's a dumb idea. We can't do that. I think that what's going to happen if these Republicans are successful? They are a minority party. They receive fewer votes, and they're pushing a minority ideology, and we're just going to accept that? Like with the Supreme Court, with New York, with the gun laws now. Now I have to worry about being on the subway if people are going to be carrying guns. It's bad enough. So everything they touch, they turn to shit, and I'm sick of it, frankly. Even what we're dealing with this fascist coup, we wouldn't even be dealing with it if it wasn't for John Roberts, and everything they touch, they destroy. Because it's been that way. It's been about unraveling the grand experiment. So I think, on some level, I'm like, okay, you want to go? You don't like democracy. That's clear. Let's split this shit up and do it before anybody else is hurt. I don't know. What do you think?
I think the maggot states are kind of in the catbird seat, Tara, because they're takers. It's like what I was talking about a few minutes ago. They are takers. They're sitting here that they take in $5 for every dollar they pay out. And so it's to their benefit.
Right.
They don't want us to
yes,
see.
that's true.
Why would you lays the golden egg? And in point of fact, because of constitutional structures, they get to maintain control and lord it over the decent people, because of the decidedly non-democratic aspect of the United States Senate, and because they can mount enough of a minority. You don't have to win by a majority vote. A noisy plurality can wreak all kinds of havoc.
Yes.
And we're seeing it now.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm sure that if I just started knocking on doors around here, I would find out that a whole lot of people think that Joe Biden is not legitimately the president of the United States.
That's right.
That is some real 1850s or 1860s stuff.
Yes. And people are saying that we're as divided as we were back before the first Civil War. And you're right too. I know you often talk about the cold Civil War.
They want the right.
So yeah, and that's been going on. Sorry.
They got it good. They've got California, Washington, Oregon, Illinois, New York, Pennsylvania to a certain extent, all the New England states busting their asses and paying taxes to keep states like this afloat.
That's right.
It sure beats the hell out of Oregon.
Exactly. And they don't even have the courtesy to say thanks. But it's also the Democratic Party's fault. That is the Democratic Party's fault too, because the Dems have yet until now have had the courage of their convictions to fight, to push back. So hold on a second, Robyn. Thanks for hanging out, guys. This is Tara Devlin and Robyn Kincaid, Unapologetic Liberal Talk. This is the end of the Progressive Voices part of the show. There's still more show if you're on YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, so hang out. If you're on Progressive Voices, come on back to youtube.com/C for channel/Tarabuster. And, like I say, we stick together. We win. We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, and democracy. My name is Tara Devlin. I'll see you soon. Hold on. All right, we're back. I heard you, Robyn. I heard the beep.
What did I do?
I don't know. I heard the music. Beep.
There was a beep?
Yeah, I don't know. It made it was the music. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It don't matter. So, yeah, other people in the chat room are saying it's not going to work as far as splitting the country up. I don't know. What do you think? You don't think it's not going to happen.
No, we settled that issue after that little dust up between 1861 and 1865. The Constitution and the law promulgated by the Supreme Court says, nope, can't do that. We're not even going to think about it ever again.
It says that?
But then
it says we won't think about it?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, it says that secession is not a possibility. We are inexorably tied together. It's that whole Abraham Lincoln thing.
Jesus.
If we do not hang together, we shall surely hang separately. But then again, we live in an era where 100-year-old constitutional precedents don't necessarily mean much of anything if a bunch of judicial thugs decide that it doesn't.
That's right. Well, that's what pisses me off, because I'm really pissed off at the Democrats for as far as the Supreme Court. That's another example why they legitimize the illegitimate dirty tricks of the Republicans. They just kind of throw up their hands. It's okay, that fight's over, they won, next fight. But as you noticed, the Republicans don't do that. They are like rabid dogs on the chicken bone on it with everything, right? They'll talk about Benghazi.
Right, they don't take it.
Yeah.
Because they know how to message.
Exactly.
Here's a fun one to ponder. We got so outraged, and justifiably so, about how chinless Mitch McConnell, Moscow Mitch, kept Merrick Garland off the Supreme Court. Having watched him as Attorney General,
oh God, I know, right?
I don't know how awesome he would have been on the Supreme Court. Do you?
That's. I mean, you were reading my mind too, because I thought to myself, this is such an Obama thing. Of course he would pick this guy, this mealy mouth, weak ass, middle of the road institutionalist. What is he? I don't give a crap if they're institutionalists. This is an emergency, asshole. And if you can't see that, you're not fit. We need somebody who's there to fight.
Well, I'm watching what Beryl Howell, the chief judge in the insurrection cases, back before my surgery, in fact, unloaded on some prosecutors.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And said, "Do you really recommending no jail time is the message you want to send to an insurrection?"
Right. The judges.
And so the guy that we called the QAnon shaman got sentenced the other day. And the government asked for 51 months, and the judge gave him 41. And I still think of that guy as a reject from a Ted Nugent cosplay convention.
Right.
He's just a joke.
Right.
But the joke is on us, because he was the face of the insurrection. He deliberately wanted to be the face of the insurrection, and he is not even going to do 3 years in prison because of the time served.
Unbelievable. It really is. All of them should have the book thrown at them. And you're 100% right. The government, why they're not prosecuting them as stiffly as they need to, this is part of the problem. It's the Democratic mealy mouth, weak in the knees, no spine. I don't know what it is. That's why they let the Republicans get away with everything, rebranding everything, taking patriotism, reframing everything, because they constantly run. Even the word socialism, they run. It's like so ridiculous. Disarm them of their cudgel, assholes. You just say, you embrace it. Like the last show we did, there was a young woman at a Target when one of these mask holes went in there. He used to be a mask hole. I'm sure he still is. But since that was resolved in Arizona, now he's going in there and he's anti-gay. Obviously, he's a closet case, but that's another story. And he went in there and he was going, "Do you support Satan and pride?"
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, and the woman said, yeah, I do, both, Satan and pride. I mean, she totally ate him for lunch and did it without even breaking a sweat. And she was like, ignore him. She's like, someone didn't take their crazy pills today, and just made a fool of him, kind of like AOC did in live live streaming the whole thing, and that's what has to happen. We have to mock them and vilify them and expose them for what they are. But the Democrats, we do it, of course, on our independent liberal shows. But the Democrats have to do it. They have to have the courage of the convictions. Yeah, we're the only pro-democracy party in the country right now. The other party is undergoing some kind of fascist coup, internally and externally, obviously, and we're going to do everything to stop them. That's what needs to be said. Of course, we hear, well, even during the bipartisan, all that bipartisan shit drives me insane too. So it's because that's what the Democrats are more than willing to throw everything out, including whatever convictions Democrats might have, if the Republicans will play nice with them. Is this, you know what I mean? So anyway, the Democrats are, the younger Democrats like AOC, I think, are really, I mean, it's a breath of fresh air to see a Democrat openly mock them. I mean, that's, to me, you would never see that, would you? Because they're all my good friend of here, my good friend there, and you know, I don't believe that we have time for that anymore. They have to be exposed for what they are. But there's a
historical precedent for that, Tara. The reason for all of that my good friend business is because you know I mentioned the 1850s a few weeks ago. From the 1820s up to the 1860s, that my good friend business was out the window, and they brought pistols, they brought cudgels, they brought guns, and they beat the hell out of each other to the point that it's part and parcel of why the country fell apart in 1861.
Right.
And so we have this false sense of decorum that we like to promote as a counterpoint, because anybody who's ever seen Prime Minister's Question Time out of the House of Commons in the UK, we in the United States sit and watch that and go, God, I'd love to see that take place here.
Yep.
But
I used to watch
they're
that all the time.
They're slightly more than we are. They're slightly more civilized than we are, because if that took place here, the Marjorie Trader gangrene cue balls out there would be pulling out an AR-15 and wasting
that's true.
People on the other side. They have no filter. They have no common decency. They have no ability to moderate or modulate their behavior, because they have learned over time that it is to their advantage.
That's right.
There is a bonus to be had for behaving the way they behave.
They keep failing upwards, and they keep getting more and more and more power. I mean, look at Marjorie Taylor Greene, just herself. She's kicked off her committees. She's nothing but a troll, and now she's fundraising. Off the hook. Okay, well, that's because, she certainly has cornered the market on morons, racists, white supremacists, assholes, pricks, everyone who sucks. So, but those are people that live in every country. Everybody has to contend with them, but you just don't give them power. And I think that the American people will continue to vote for Republicans as long as that party is presented as an option. How should it be an option? We can't. If we are a democracy, that's what the country is, and they're following an entirely different playbook in governance, then that's not. That it doesn't mean that it's all automatically democracy. You know what I mean? Like autocracy is democracy? No. That's what they're trying to do.
But consider, as they in these several states, if my theory is correct, as they march inexorably toward full-on fascist autocracy, every step of the way they will claim, you know what, we're doing this because of democracy.
Save America, Patriots.
And they will call them.
Exactly. They're not.
What's the official name? What's the official name of North Korea? The Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What was the official name of the German Democratic Republic?
Exactly. That's what I say.
It's all a matter of things.
Well, it's my opinion is that we've never, I mean, you said we had that scrap from 1861 to 65, but we've never actually finished the work of Reconstruction. So, and you know the story.
No, we never did.
No, and that's the real problem. What needed to happen then was Lee needed to be executed or put in jail for the rest of his life, and the rest of the traitors along with him. Instead, what did Grant do? He said Lee tried to hand him his sidearm and his sword, and
Sword.
yeah, his and whatever, and Grant said, "Oh, no, the war's over. We're all Americans now. Only Americans here, and go home and be a good boy, basically." And all of the troops outside too, they were like, "What? We could just leave?" And they allowed them to take their horses, their guns, and just go on home. And all of the same people who rose up against the government, against the constitutionally limited democratic republic that the founders, fought, bled, and died for, they had to sign. Well, some of them had to sign loyalty oaths, but they were put back into the same positions that they were running in the first place. So it was the same cast of characters, and What? I didn't hear you. You're breaking up.
I was going to say, do remember that Grant would, in his presidency later on, would use a piece of congressional legislation and absolutely crush the Klan. He did that. I mean, he broke it into a million tiny pieces, and it was only reconstituted later, following the rise of the Lost Cause. And so, in the race between Rutherford B. Hayes and Samuel Tilden, Tilden was all for continuing some degree of Reconstruction, and Rutherford B. Hayes was given the presidency by the Congress on the promise extracted by Southern members of Congress that if they gave him the presidency, he would end Reconstruction and withdraw federal troops from occupying the South.
Right. Because
these are kind of that.
Well, that was the
mistakes are made in history, and then that history pays the price.
Right, but that was the scenario that this brand of this fascist coup was trying to cause. That's what they were trying to do. They were trying to cause the same kind of crisis of the what year? Say 1870 something or whatever, and that's what they were trying to do, to throw it to the legislature. So the Republicans would vote for the one who lost. And in Reconstruction, pulling the troops out, it was partly, of course, because of Johnson, who was a serious racist, and Lincoln. Well, of course, everybody was a goddamn racist, but he was a Southerner, right? But Lincoln had had him as his vice president in the effort to try to heal the nation, to show. But
and also the effort to try to win re-election.
Right, but then
you got to remember he dumped Hannibal Hamlin.
Right. Well, I don't know what the story of that, but I just think that this country has been suffering from conservatism. That's the real sin here. We have all these highfalutin ideals about e pluribus unum and the general welfare, but always standing in the way is the same old things that always stand in the way. The selfishness, greed, and it's not, it's not, when you talk about a republic, if we can keep it, it's so heartbreaking. I really do believe that, I really don't know if we're going to make it as a country at this point. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm holding my breath. I'll do everything I can for the midterms. But,
Right.
I often, as horrible as it is, I really think about what must it have been like in, let's say, Nazi Germany. I mean, we haven't gone to the extreme. Yeah, there's no death camps, or at least, well, we do have internment camps, but it's just, there's so much here that needs to be fixed. It feels so insurmountable to me, and I don't know.
But I think there are answers. I think there are answers, Tara.
Right.
And we can never let up. We've got to constantly fight against the white wing, but we also have to be careful about some folks on our side. We've got to constantly bolster and kind of keep the spirits up of the I want a pony crowd.
Who's that?
The people who won't come out. That Democrats who say, well, Biden gas prices or whatever, or inflation. But the people is it's Joe Biden didn't get the infrastructure bill that we needed, or Joe Biden hadn't passed voting rights. Well, Joe Biden is not the Congress of the United States.
Right. Yeah.
So we've got to guard against that. And on top of it all, I mean, there are meaningful methods for correcting some of these mistakes. One of which is because he's one of the favorite people for being beaten upon, and God knows he earns it all. My senior senator.
Oh no!
Joe Manchin.
Oh no! I know. Oh, he is everything that's
but see,
wrong.
Here's the thing. He is only who he is, and he is only able to exercise the power he has because it's a 50-50 Senate.
Yeah.
And that gives him extraordinary amounts of power. In 2022, instead of conceding the ground and saying, well, we're just going to get our asses beat, we have to fight like there's something worth fighting for.
Mm-hmm.
And in the last 2 years of the Biden administration, we have an opportunity to make Joe Manchin irrelevant.
Right.
Just send him back to the back and tell him to shut the up.
I know.
And all
cinema,
we have to do to
too.
do that,
oh, please. Her. I hate her. Oh.
Yeah, but
legally and peacefully.
But all we have to do is elect some Democratic senators. North Carolina's got an open seat. Ohio has an open seat. There's a very challengeable seat in the form of Marco Rubio in Florida. For God's sakes, Alabama has an open seat. No, there's no real Democrats to challenge, but it's worth. Missouri, I think, has an open seat. There's plenty of Republican open seats, and if we picked up 4 of them, we could collectively tell Joe Manchin to sit down and shut up.
Right.
And what a grand, glorious day that would be.
I know.
We don't need your vote anymore.
Right.
We don't need
cinema.
You. We've got the vote. We've got decent people to do this. Yeah. Well, she's just blowing in the wind.
Oh,
if her support system goes. If she doesn't have Joe Manchin to bogart off of anymore, she might shut up and get in line.
Oh my God, she's so tedious. Oh God, listening to her.
Well, and there are aspects of Kyrsten Sinema that make me just want to eat dirt and run rabbits, and one of those things is the fact that she is a member of the LGBTQ community.
Oh, I know.
And she works so tirelessly to hurt us.
Yes. Well, that's another thing that annoys me about her. Is that she says she's bisexual, which is annoying in itself. Like, of course you would do that. Because it doesn't, what does that mean? You're not really doing anything. You're not really a trailblazer. It's like, I can only be half a trailblazer. I don't know. You're not really committed, are you? She just seems like somebody who wants attention. That's all. And who went to college and she wants attention. You know what I mean? Like, she seems like one of these window shoppers to me. Like, I know people who have, like, straight women who will be attracted to a lesbian, and but they're not they're not going to settle down with somebody. Like, they'll go. I call them window shoppers. But they'll want to have a home and a family with a guy. Because they're just window shoppers. That's all. They're just having fun in college or something. You know what I mean? That's who cinema reminds me of. Maybe that's why I hate her so much. Like, she's triggering something in me that happened in college. Too many window shoppers, really. It is true. It is the story of my life. But
pick a side.
Anyway, she's annoying. She needs to go, and at least she needs to be made irrelevant. That would be. I'll take that, at least. It's so irritating how the most horrible people. This is the thing that confuses me, and maybe you know, Robyn, being someone who's lived your whole life in the South. How does Louis Gohmert get anybody to vote for him? Like somebody that they actually vote for him.
Gerrymandering. That's just how you draw the district.
I see. Right. That's true. That is true.
But we have to remember, these are people. It's not it's what we have to understand about certain segments of the the electorate in the United States of America. In the 1st Congressional District of Texas, there are a lot of people who think that he is brilliant.
Right.
Okay, just like there are millions of people who think that Donald Trump is a deal maker and a great businessman.
Right.
I forget who came up with the line that always stuck with me. Donald Trump is the kind of man who stupid people think is intelligent.
Right. Yes. Yes. And that is, you nailed it. That is it.
This is the dictatorship of the dumb.
Right. That's another thing that makes me feel very alone in the world, because I start thinking, wow, there are so many people that like him.
There's some joy to be had because, among other things, Nitwit Nero is now pissed off at one of his little proteges, namely Rona Death Sentence, the governor of Florida, because Nitwit Nero got mad when he said, when he refused to rule out a 2024 presidential run, even if Nero run.
Yes, I know.
He's not nearly grateful enough.
It's the king. The king must have his say. Right. Their glorious dim leader is not happy with that.
Right. So I hope it does. I hope it doesn't hurt too little. And come on, let's you and him fight.
Right. Wait, hold on. An ad just went. Say again, Robyn.
I said, anything I can do to help Republicans fight amongst themselves.
I know.
I'm there.
It's brilliant. It's so funny how much they hate themselves, really. Because you really have to hate yourself to be somehow owing Donald Trump anything, or to be in somebody that is looking to him for guidance. I mean, it's so off the chain, unbelievable to me that anybody is so dumb that they would vote for these idiots.
Yeah, but behind his back, they talk about what an idiot he is.
Right, and then, but it doesn't seem to matter. There's so many corrupt systems enabling it.
But they'll talk about him behind his back. But they know that even though he's an idiot, the other so too is his electorate, right. His constituency. So if they want to stay in office, they have to play to the stupid seats.
Right. In my dreamland, instead of encouraging stupid, people in positions of leadership would encourage the stupid to evolve or educate themselves. It shouldn't be that we all have to, that the elected leaders, at least, all have to go down to the level of the stupidest. And then how are we supposed to be a great country when everybody is so stupid. This needs to be a question that we need to that has to be asked. Yeah, it's not funny, really. The rest of the world is looking at the shit show. It's like the country is burned out, man. And when the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict came in, all I thought was this country's over. It's over. We have one part of the country, one half, a little less than half, because they're not a majority, but who actually think that this kid's a hero and that violence is justified. And then, like, for example, I made a recommendation to you. I said there was a show on Amazon. It's called Always Jane. It's about a trans young kid from New Jersey. Anyway, she's in high school. It's great. I really just cried watching the trailer. But I was watching the show, and they have a grandfather in the show, and it's her real grandfather. Anyway, just by way of conversation, he's like, I'm a Republican. I don't think that the Democrats are embodying America anymore, but that's just my opinion. And I just thought, why is this the message that seems, it's just so out there. Even on this show I'm watching about this trans teenager, why is it acceptable for people to say that Democrats aren't American, that they don't embody American values? You know what I mean? It really pissed me off, and
Sure.
it's not okay.
Sure.
It's just
Consider
not okay.
How long have the log closet Republicans existed?
Mm-hmm.
Explain to me how you can be gay and a Republican.
Well, please.
I mean, talk about self-loathing.
No. This wasn't the girl who's a Republican. It was her grandfather. But she's not a Republican.
It's just a total cognitive dissonance.
Right. But
if old granddad there's a Republican, then he really doesn't love his granddaughter.
Exactly. That's what I thought. And everybody just kind of accepts it as like, okay, that's what people think. Democrats aren't American. And obviously his trans granddaughter is not a Republican, I would think. Whatever. I don't know. But I just thought it was insidious how casual the negativity against Democrats are. And then so later on in the show, it ends up the grandfather is kind of got dementia. So you see that later on, like it kind of gets revealed that he's a little bit not with it. But that doesn't excuse what's allowed to be said. It doesn't, to me, it just seems like what he's saying, that what the grandfather said is it's a reflection of the fact that Fox News exists and that it's been this successful. We're on the brink of fascism because of the media. That's in my opinion, because otherwise these people, they wouldn't be fed lies. They don't, these people are not smart. They wouldn't be, all of a sudden anti-mask. You know what I mean? Now being a Republican means that you're not anti-vax, I meant to say. Like all of the sudden, that's part of the Republican, pantheon of idiocy is anti-vax, But it just seems the Republicans. There's a whole faction of Americans that just casually think that Democrats are not American. You know what I mean? And what the F does that mean anyway? And you know what I mean? That's why I have to say, like, with the Democrats, when they say, oh, I don't want to hear about socialism or whatever, instead of explaining, they run from it. And they run right into the arms of fascism. You see? So, I'm really kind of
natural dichotomy.
Mm-hmm. What? Say again?
I said, well, that's the natural dichotomy. That's the natural dichotomy. And the problem is America has never had any sort of fondness for socialism. Remember, they put Eugene V. Debs in jail.
Yeah,
and
right.
socialism scared the living daylights out of the United States of America from the moment that Marx and Engels published their work. It might come as a surprise. I think there is some historical note that Abraham Lincoln was an admirer of Marx. He thought he was a brilliant political philosopher.
Right.
And we talk about books from time to time. You can read this for free on the internet because it was published in like 1919. There was a political scientist by the name of Charles Adams, and he wrote a thing in the late 19-teens called an economic interpretation of the Constitution. I recommend everybody who is interested in how our government got to be the way it is, I recommend everybody read it, because he wrote it and all of a sudden some eyes went bing, wide open, and it scared capitalists and it scared authoritarians and it scared oligarchs so badly that they spent no untold amounts of time and treasure trying to discredit Charles Adams. And, they said, well, he can't possibly be right because he's a drunk. Crap like that. But now, with 100 years behind us, we're finding out he was right all along. And basically, his premise is that the form of government that we have was put together by rich people to protect the interests of, curiously or not, rich people.
Exactly.
The economic interests of rich people. Mm-hmm. And if you, and if you read it, you kind of go, well, this makes a lot of sense. And so, all that high-minded stuff that we like to talk about sort of blows away when you read this and you realize these were just rich white guys acting in their own best interests.
Which is the history of the
world. And so along comes socialism, and that is an argument for the working class to finally act in its own best interest.
Right. Well, that's the thing, and that I contend that the American people don't understand. They don't know what socialism is. Otherwise, these are the people that are like, get your government hands off my Medicaid. So, you know what I mean? They don't know what socialism is. So, like, when they ask Democrats, are you a socialist? And we've seen people like Tweety Bird asked Hillary Clinton, what's the difference between socialism and the Democratic Party? And she says, I'm just not a socialist. I'm just not one. Instead of just saying, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, because the people don't know what socialism is. Say, no, I'm not a socialist. I don't want to take over. I don't want government to take over the means of production. I just think that, for example, Social Security and Medicare, that government, we the people, have a duty to promote the general welfare. And that's really what we're doing. And all of the attacks are nothing but, it's disingenuous. So, but the Democrats instead, they run. I contend the American people don't know. They don't know what socialism is. But we only have 2 minutes left. And, and this is the problem. My big problem with media in general is that everything is a poll. Do the American people like, Joe Biden? Do they like, and then nothing is explained. Nothing goes deep. Everything is superficial. Some people are like, people prefer Republicans, people prefer Democrats, but there's not that's not news. Why don't you educate us? What are the Democrats doing? What do the Republicans do? What's going on in the rest of the world? We don't get that. We just get people don't like socialism, but they don't even explain. You know what I mean? So it's really, we have a lot of work to do, and I try to do. I'm trying to do it, but I'm here saying, please become a patron. You know what I mean? All right, Robyn, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. This is Unapologetic Liberal
Oh,
Talk
Tara,
on
I love
the...
you too.
Hold on, Robin. I'm doing a wrap-up. Chill out. Put a pin.
Go.
We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, and democracy. My name is Tara Devlin. We're talking to Robyn Kincaid. We stick together. We win. That's right. We will win. See, I messed it up. I'll see you soon. I stopped too early. What are you going to do? I blame Robin. It's
me.
You threw me off, kid. It's fine. That's it.
Yeah, it's home. Yeah, it's home.
No,
that's
we're
a cross
good.
I can bear.
It's all right. I think we're fine. All right. Any last super chats
Good.
coming in under the radar here? I'm telling you, now's the time, because every super chat tonight is going right to Robin immediately, right after the show is off the air. So if you can, Jim is asking for some cats. Everybody's sleeping. Tara Jr.'s over there. Let me see. Ray. No, Ray's not here. All right, listen up, guys. I'm going to go because I have to get the show ready for Progressive Voices. Thanks for hanging out. And thank you, Robin, as always. You're amazing. And everybody
Thank you.
in the chat room is sending you lots of love. And like I said...
Lots of love back.
Yes. All right, guys. I'm hanging up. I'll see ya. Wait. You can hang out for a second, Robin. But everybody else?
Yeah.
I gotta tell you. Wait, I'm just looking for my thing. Everybody else, I'll see you very soon.